In the previous video, we learned about methods. We discussed four different types of methods. Now it's time to learn about conditional statements. Conditional statements are used to control the flow of our program. We can decide what code gets executed by branching our code using conditional statements. So you can think of what kind of decision might we want to make in game development. Well, we might need to decide how to move the player's character, in which direction to move the character based on the player's input, how much the score gets increased when we collect some bonus. We could even decide which menu to go to when the player has done something, and there is lots more. So we can make a lot of decisions in our code while creating the game, and the conditional statement will help us to do that. Let's start with the if conditional statement. This is the flowchart of if conditional statement. Here we are starting our program. This is if condition, and this hungry is a Boolean expression. Remember, an expression evaluates to true or false. If it is true, it means if and only if we are hungry, go and execute this statement, prepare sandwich, go to the next statement, eat sandwich, and finally execute the last statement, go to rest, which is outside the if body. If it is not true, means we are not hungry, so directly jump to the last statement, go to rest, and skip these two statements. Now let's do it in the editor. Declare a variable of type bool. So type bool is hungry, assign value true. Now in the start method, I'm going to type the if condition. If is hungry equal to true, put open close curly brackets. As you can see, we use double equal symbol, and we use this to check whether two things are equal in C#. We will not use single equal symbol. It is used for an assignment, but we will always use double equal symbol when we compare two things. Here we put open and close curly brackets, and it is important when we have more than one statement inside the if condition. So I'm going to type the statement 1 print, and I will say prepare sandwich. Type another statement print eat sandwich, and the last statement I'm going to type outside the if body print and go to rest. Now save this and go to Unity and hit the play button. Now in the console window, you can see we have three statements: prepare sandwich, eat sandwich, and go to rest. These two statements from the if body, and this last statement is outside the if body. Now stop it and change the value of is hungry. Go to Visual Studio and type false. The default value of bool type in C# is false, so we don't need to put false right here. Leave it like this. Now save it and go to Unity. And before that, let me tell you, this is hungry statement is now false. So we are not going to execute these two statements. We will directly execute this last statement, which is outside the if body. So go to Unity, hit the play button. You can see in the console window, we just execute the last statement, which is outside the if body. Go to rest. Stop it. We have another class that is else. The else clause is used to have our code do something in the case that the if condition or if portion of the code doesn't run. Let's go and see the flowchart. This is the flowchart of else clause. First, it will check this Boolean expression. If it is true, it will execute this statement. Then it will go to the next statement and execute that. And finally, it will execute the last statement that is outside the if body. If it is not true, in case, it will jump to the else clause. And there is no expression to evaluate. It will execute this statement and the next statement and finally jump to the last statement that is outside the else body. Now let's implement this in the editor. Remove this statement and type else clause and put open close curly brackets. As I said, this open and close curly brackets are important when we have more than one statement. So type the statement print and I will say go to rest and type another statement and I will say you are not hungry and type the last statement outside the else body. I am the statement outside the if and else body. Here what we are doing, we are checking if this Boolean expression is true. Go and execute this piece of code and then jump to the last statement that is outside the if body. If it is not true, go to the else class and execute this piece of code and the last statement that is outside the else body. Now save it, go to Unity and hit the play button. In the console window, you can see we have three statements: go to rest, you are not hungry, and I am the statement outside the if and else body. The above these two statements are from else class, and the last statement that is outside the else body. Now let's talk about the Elsif statement. Elsif statement is a way to code more than two possible branches directions. Let's see the flowchart. In the given flowchart, the code will go in three different directions. First, it will check if this expression is true, execute this piece of code, and the last statement. If it is not true, jump to the else if condition and check if this expression is true, execute this piece of code, and go to the last statement and execute that. If these both conditions are not true, jump to the else class and there is no expression to evaluate. So execute this piece of code and the last statement that is outside the else body. Now let's go and implement this functionality in the editor. Remove all the code inside the start method. Remove this as well. Now declare a variable of type string item and assign a value to it, health. Now in the start method, I'm going to type the if condition, if item equal to coin. I'm going to print score increased. Now type the Elsif class item equal to health, print the statement health increased. And in the else class, I'm going to type print you got nothing. And the last statement that I'm going to write is I am a statement outside the conditional clauses. Here what we are doing, we are checking if item is equal to coin. So print this statement and execute the last statement as well. If this condition is not true, then check this condition if item equal to health, print the statement and go to the last statement and execute that. If none of the condition is true, then go to the else class and execute this statement and go to the last statement and execute this one. Here we are executing this Elsif class because we have stored health in the item variable. We are checking if item equal to health, so print the statement. Now save it, go to Unity and hit the play button. Go to console window. As you can see here, health increased. I am a statement outside the conditional classes. So we have executed the else if condition. Now go back to Visual Studio and change the value of item variable. In case none of the condition is true, so we are going to execute this else class. Go and change the value of item variable to something else. Collectible item. Now save it and go to Unity and hit the play button. Now you can see you have the statement, you got nothing, and I am a statement outside the conditional classes. So we have executed the else class because none of the condition is true. Stop it and go back to the Visual Studio. Now let's talk about switch conditional statement that works similarly as if conditional statement. First, comment all the code inside the start method. To comment that, select all the code, hold Control and press K and then backslash, and there you go, we have commented all the code. Type switch statement and put open close parentheses and curly brackets. This switch statement is based on the value of the answer variable. Here I'm going to provide the answer variable, which is item, and the way we indicate which code the switch statement execute by using cases. Cases work similar as if statement. So we are going to type case if the case is coin. So execute this statement, print score increased. And type the keyword break. And you can think of this as close curly brackets of the else class or if class. You can type many cases as you want. So I'm going to type the next case. If the case is health, so print health increased and put the keyword break. And the way we indicate all the other possible values for the answer variable that have not been included and the cases is default keyword, and it works similar as else class. So type default and print you got nothing and put the keyword break. None of the case is true here because we have no coin or health value stored in the item variable. So we are executing the default case and we are printing the statement you got nothing. Now save it, go to Unity and hit the play button. Now you can see in the console window, you got nothing. We just executed the default case. Go back to Visual Studio and change the value of item variable to coin. Now we are executing the coin case. Save it and go to Unity and hit the play button. Now you can see in the console window, you have a message score increased. Now go back to Visual Studio. Remember one thing, we can't switch on a float number. There are not a set of discrete value like 1, 2, 3 and so forth to check for. Because there are so many possible floating point numbers. In that case, we will probably use if statement. And here is a short assignment for you. Declare an int variable and store random value from 1 to 5 inclusive. If the case is 1, print the statement main menu. If the case is 2, print the statement game mode. If the case is 3, print the statement options. If the case is 4, print the statement quit game. If none of the case is true, print you don't have the case 5. Here is a short hint. To generate random numbers, you can use the random class to generate random numbers like this. I put 6 here, not 5, because in the random class for an integer, the last element is explosive. It will go up to 5, not 6. That's it for today's code. Hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get all the updates.